Hello folks, you're on the Desert Adventures YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to lube our chain on the X-Pro Storm 150 DLX, as well as take a nice ride with a couple thousand feet of elevation gain. This video is sponsored by Apogee Performance Racing. If you need a long-lasting chain lube that'll get you through the entire ride without leaving kinks in your chain, and also is easily cleanable, this is your stuff, available at apogeeperformanceracing.com. On this ride, we're going to head up into the mountains, get a couple thousand feet of elevation. Like I said before, I want to see how this carb's tuning does once we get up closer to 5,000 feet elevation to see if it starts to sputter out and act too rich at that point, or if it'll still run okay. Along the way, I'll comment on a few things in the video as well, such as this bike being a bit underpowered in the sand. I shouldn't say it's underpowered, it's a 150. You should only expect a 150 to give you the power of a 150. But it really does work pretty hard when you're at speed in the sand, especially with the pizza cutter front tire it comes with. We'll be replacing that front tire with something a bit wider and a bit more floaty in the sand here shortly. We'll also be doing a couple more power adders as time goes on. The next thing I'm debating on adding would be a performance CDI. That will add some ignition timing to it, a little bit more aggressive ignition curve, and maybe that'll help the bike pull a little better in the sand. It's not a dune bike, but we are in Arizona and I end up riding in the sand quite often. I also plan on racing this bike in a few of the AMRA Enduro and Hare Scramble races just to see how it does, and extra power always helps out with that. Out west here in Arizona, you'll sometimes, especially out in BLM land, come across some mining country and come across a sign that shows you all the dangers that mines have, such as gas and falling in and false floors. Basically, don't screw with mines and don't accidentally ride into a mine if you're in Arizona or BLM land. And after we went through the gate and then always close the gates or behind you if they say to close them behind you, or always leave them as you found them if there is no sign. But close the gate behind us and keep heading on up in elevation. It's funny how as you go up in elevation, the scenery gets a little better. Speaking of scenery, up ahead you'll see the Grand Wash Cliffs, and we'll be getting bigger and better views of those as the ride goes on, all the way up to our turnaround point. Here's a note on the X-Pro that I haven't noted before that I noticed other YouTubers have noted, but still something I should bring up. You hear that clacking in the video? That's because the chain guides on this bike are made out of a pretty hard plastic. Maybe someone should make a little bit softer chain guides. Maybe the Apogee Performance guys will look into that. But some softer chain guides made out of a softer material would quiet that clacking down. It's not a mechanical issue or a failure point. It's a wear item that happens to be made out of a harder material. Not a problem, it's something you get used to, but it is there and it's noticeable. Let's take this power line road up into this valley here. Let's see how far up it'll take us. Exploring on this bike. It's just so easy to ride. You just know exactly what it's going to do, and it's not going to be anything extremely eventful when it does it. Just super predictable. What a fun little machine. Plus, look at where I get to go on this thing. It's some beautiful scenery up in here. Look at the cliffs there. This is a fun little section of the trail. Hell yeah. This road right here really shows just how well this bike doesn't care whether you're going fast or slow. Unlike some of the two-strokes I've raced and ridden over my life, these little four-strokes just don't really care whether you're putt-putting or hauling ass. Here we go. Nice little creek section. Looks like the trail keeps going past it. Let's see how it goes. I do love some technical enduro terrain. This is my first time getting this bike into some rocky enduro terrain. So far, it's doing great. Loving it. It does the four-stroke tractor quite well. You don't have to rev the heck out of it, keep it from stalling out. And that's one good thing about a stock motor without putting too big of a cam in it or anything crazy like that. They don't flame out at low RPM. And this little 150 just chugs me right up the hill. Does quite well. And as we keep getting higher in elevation, stuff starts getting greener as we get out of that desert floor I live in. This seems like a good spot to stop and check out the scenery. It's not all about hauling ass to where you're going. Sometimes you just gotta stop and get a good view of where the hell you're at. You know, sometimes you gotta stop and smell the roses, man. After a stop to enjoy some flowers. It's time to hit the road again. Keep climbing. For this section, I'm just going to shut my mouth and let you guys enjoy the scenery of the terrain and the riding footage getting up to the top of this hill here. Stick around to the end to find out how well this carburetor did all the way up to 5,000 feet. Are we going to need to rejet at that point or no? this last haul up the hill, I noticed that we're starting to get a little rich on fuel mixture. If I was going to be riding or racing at 5,000 feet or above, which is right at where I'm at here, I'd want to drop my main jet size and perhaps adjust the carb a bit. These are the Grand Wash Cliffs, the very southern end of them. I hope you enjoyed my vlog. If you did, please like, subscribe, and comment down below if there's something you'd like to see in the future on this motorcycle or any e-moto content as well. Thanks for watching the Desert Adventures YouTube channel. See you next time.